But let's begin with Armed Forces Remembrance Day. Today is Armed Forces Remembrance Day, and in commemoration of the day, a church service was held in Abuja to honor personnel who died in line of duty while combating various threats to national security. Sifonia Sayan has details.
It's the last but one event to commemorate this year's Armed Forces Remembrance Day celebration. The National Christian Center bustles with activities. Hymns fill the air. Senior government officials, service chiefs, serving and retired military and paramilitary officers are present in recognition of the sacrifices of the armed forces in safeguarding the territorial integrity of the country. The ceremony is also to honor the fallen heroes who laid down their lives in service to humanity during the First and Second World Wars, Nigerian Civil War, and peace support operations.
Hope of a new dawn.
In a sermon titled Hope for a New Dawn, the Archbishop of the Abuja African Metropolitan Church commends the armed forces for their contributions in building the nation and tasked the government to fulfill its mandates.
We also pray that many of our policies will be targeted at the poor. Recently, the Senate, under the leadership of our father here, said, we want the poor to breathe. I think this is the time for us to demonstrate that the poor must breathe.
Both the Chief of Defense Staff and the President of the Senate agree on the need to shore up the number of men and women in uniforms to adequately tackle threats to national security.
We are very determined to give them all the resources they need to beef up their number. They don't have enough strength to combat the current situation we are finding ourselves, and so they are understaffed and they are overworked. But we will do everything possible to provide not just the funding for the equipment, but also funding for extra personnel. And that is already provided for in the 2024 budget, so we are ready to go.
The armed forces, security agencies cannot do it alone. Everybody must put hands on deck for us to succeed. So we're calling on all Nigerians to continue to support us in all we're doing. We might make mistakes, but they will never be deliberate. And we assure you that the government of the day is giving us all the full support that we require.
Activities to mark this year's celebration will culminate in a wreath-laying ceremony at the National Cenotaph. The ceremony brings to the fore the contribution of fallen heroes and living legends in keeping the country united. Sifon Asian, TVC News, Abuja.
All right. Like our correspondent said, the activities to mark this day will culminate in a wreath-laying ceremony, so to speak, that will happen later today. Now, just to give you a background of the Armed Forces Remembrance Day, it was initially celebrated on November the 11th as Poppy Day in honor of the end of the First World War. Remember, we were colonized by the British. But when the Civil War happened and the Nigerian government gained victory against the Biafran troop on January the 15th, the date was changed to January the 15th to commemorate the fallen heroes. Now, for decades, Ibrahim, can recall that the armed forces have done a lot, paying the ultimate sacrifice to ensure and defend Nigeria's integrity against foreign invasion and all of it. And now we see them coming inside to also defend Nigerians and Nigeria's integrity to ensure some peace and stability.
Yes, most definitely, and they are also still continually, doing that, ensuring that the country is safe, fighting insurgency, making the country habitable for a whole lot of us. Because while we are enjoying our lives, right here in the studio, it will be so interesting to also know that some others are there at the war front. I've got friends among them, I've got colleagues among them, and they are really doing a good job. It's not enough to appreciate them. We are also appreciating them by talking about them this morning. We also, the emblem, as a, what do we call it? Is it brooch? Oh, what do you call this? Something like that we put on.
Brooch.
Yeah, brooch. Yeah. So we just wear it as an emblem, just as a reminder of what they've done. So it's not enough to appreciate them by words of mouth. It's also very important for the government to, increase their salary, give them more training.
Their welfare.
Their welfare, even the wives of the,
fallen
widows
heroes,
of the fallen heroes. the veterans, they should, make them, feel the dividend, the fruits of what they fought for, not just labored, but what they fought for, to ensure that we sleep with our 2 eyes closed. But it's also very important that the government increases the boots on the ground. We don't have enough hands, enough boots on the ground, to prosecute the war against insurgency and all of that. It's also very important for them to maintain, good camaraderie, good collaborative initiative with, their sister security agencies. And it's also very important to mention that, some of the current soldiers that we have, especially the younger generation, are people who, some among them who do not have the, requisite training. The way they go about their attitude, their behavior shows that they lack discipline. And we know the soldiers to have, to exude quality discipline, good morals, in their outings. So one of them was arrested by the incumbent governor, Sanwo-Olu. There's another report against another one, in the military cantonment, even here in Lagos, where the lady said that the senior officer is looking to, take her to, looking to bed her, which she, fought against, and the army is investigating the matter. So, all of that, it's very important that, while we have the heroes, the fallen heroes who laid their lives for the betterment of this country, it's very important for the younger generation among them, the current soldiers, to also, come out with that sense of morality and discipline.
To exude that sense of morality, it's very, very important. And let's also look back a bit to what led to the Biafran war with Nigeria, the matter of secession, which is seen as a political, ethnic conflict that happened, armed conflict that happened at the time, talking about how it is that they were marginalized and all of it. And some would say that the very issues that led to the civil war at the time are very much with us as we speak. How far we have come with addressing these matters has also brought conversations to the fore that we must begin to look critically at how to build bridges amongst ourselves, ensure that we are united against all of the security challenges, because the challenges we see talking about security matters now does not know whether you are this tribe or the other. It's something that Nigerians, all Nigerians are facing. So this time around, I believe that it is something that we should look back and say that we must address these issues as one. Even though we reflect on the issues that brought us to this point where we are celebrating or commemorating rather a day like this, and the government also looking into ensuring that the issues, the root causes of what brought us to this point must also be addressed. We saw that vividly playing out during the election or events leading up to the election. And we are hoping that sometime we will be able to have a conversation, even though we have had a conference that tried to address those issues, but it didn't bring any closure that we needed at the end of the day. We've been hearing persons clamoring for the release of Nnamdi Kanu, saying that might be what will address some of or pacify their issues. But the government is yet to, address that, because he had an issue against the government, and so the government is dealing with that. The matters are in court, and we hope to see how government will go further with addressing that. But as much as we look at those issues, we must also begin to pay close attention into the various issues rising from different corners of the country as a people, so that we can deal with our issues as one. Unity is very key. The labors of our heroes past must not be in vain, because it is their labors that has brought us this far. So it's important we keep reminding ourselves how it's important that we are united, even as we look forward to a prosperous Nigeria.
I love the fact that you gave it a slant of unity, which is something that is united we stand, they say, divided we fall. So everyone wants to stand. We want this country to stand. The fact that we've gone to elections, and then now we governance is what is on the ground. Even those who were spin doctors, for the previous, before the elections, they are now also, some of them are retracing their steps, saying that
singing a different tune.
Exactly, they're singing a different tune.
Right.
So that it is time for governance. That I was just trying to say my candidates, blah blah blah, and all of that. So I feel it's very important that the integrity of this country, the unity of this country, the country to be one indivisible whole, is what we should all look forward to we should always, fight for, just the way the soldiers, the military, is also trying to make sure that Nigeria, stands tall amongst the Committee of Nations.
Very important. We'll leave the conversation here now. We'll definitely keep tabs with activities around Armed Forces Remembrance Day as a station. So just keep your eyes glued to TVC News.